Damn, Daddy. I wasn't worth raising, huh? You didn't care that your absence and ability to instill in me order alter my destiny from mountain heights to a damn corner. At 7, I remember running to Mama saying, I want to be a man, Mama. Daddy, understand the fact that you abandoned me, I'm now qualified to be called a bastard. And since you never showed me how to be a provider, I'm having sleep for dinner. But one day I'm gonna be that man, Mama. How I just wish you taught me how to throw a ball, tie, tell me it's okay to cry, son. What about how to shave or drive, Daddy? Last I seen you were great at it. You never hit your brakes once. What if you could die from parent failure? As a teen, I was never a problem child. I was a child with a problem. You wasn't there to teach me the birds and the bees or even how to follow my dreams. Damn it, I needed you, Daddy. The hood told me to be the man that takes women, money, and respect, so I slid her $40 hoping to find my manhood in the back of her pussy. But my anger and temper tantrums forced girls to deal with a boy that was supposed to be a man, but one day, I'm going to be a man, Mama. It's just because of you, Daddy, that when I look in the mirror, I hate my very appearance, and it's not low self-esteem. I bet you didn't know that I love myself. But Mama said I'm a splitting image of you, and it breaks my heart in two to know that I remind Mama of you, Daddy. But you see, I found her. One crazy enough to say I do and share this damaged world with me. And finish this journey and thing we call life. She gives me hope. And y'all don't understand what's on my plate. I'm in Southeast D.C. where life expectancy is 21. I'm 35 and didn't have my first dream until I was 28. But I'm still not yet a man, Mama. I had dreams of closure, wishing we could be closer. But I've had to put the psychological hold that Daddy has on me in the past that can eliminate the torturous pain of this generational curse of being a fatherless child behind me like that precious little boy you once called your precious little man, Mama. A dream that I could be proud of. I was determined to be the father I always wanted. Hell, the father I always needed to escape the mental bondage and emotional enslavement that comes from not being wanted by you, Daddy. You see, I have a child. And although the fear of repeating my daddy's actions, who hightailed it out of my life like Usain Bolt, I committed my life to him, to raise him with every ounce and love of my being. You see, I'm not you, Daddy. I'm not your decisions or even your tendencies. I'm merely your offspring. And although Ancestry.com will forever bind us together, I be day and you be night, Daddy. And I now leave you in the darkness of your own choices. But whenever I visit home, and I hug the woman that gave birth to me, and Mama, understand you are a queen. And Daddy, I forgive you. You motherfucker. You planted your seed but failed to tend the garden. But today I be a father, a husband, a provider, a God-fearing. I learned how to stand. So today, I am the man, Mama.
What's up, world? It's your girl, Tamika Georgia Me Harper. And when I'm listening to podcasts, I want the real deal. So I listen to Spoken Soul Sessions with my man, Poetic Black.
What's up, everybody? This your girl, Ebony the Goddess. And when I'm in these poetic streets going from venue to venue, I'm tuning in to Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Black.
Spoken Soul Sessions.
You ready, my man?
With Poetic Black.
Ain't nothing holding me back but me, and who's holding you but you.
Check this out, man.
Spoken Soul Sessions.
Oh my God.
This is Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Black.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Bold stances and looted dances got us here.
You are listening to Spoken Soul Sessions with Poetic Black.
We'll start from scratch, exploring new possibilities.
Welcome to another episode of Spoken Soul Sessions. I'm your host, Poetic Black, and I'm happy to be here. Spoken Soul family, what's good? We got another dope show lined up for you guys today. I hope you're on your path today. I hope you're not allowing anyone or anything to impede your progress. I hope you focus on the goal. Today is the day we shine, and I need us to get in tune. We got work to do, family. Let's get to it. Spoken Soul family, what's good? What's good? What's good? We got another dope show lined up for you guys today. And today, oh my goodness, this is going to be an interview. I had the absolute honor of being featured on this brother's platform over on Clubhouse, Improv Poetry. And I must tell you, I've done a lot of interviews. You guys know I conduct a lot of interviews, you know, and I've been interviewed a number of times. And I can tell you with an assurity that the interview that this brother conducted upon me was very much top notch, man. Now, I really felt comfortable. I felt good. So I'm gonna return the favor today. Let me give this brother the proper introduction that he deserves. I'm talking about none other than the Improv King, Nate Sr. A husband, father of two, spoken word artist, minister, motivational speaker, poetry writer, and a prompt dealer. Mr. Graham's body of work includes 2 published works while in high school, printed in poetry and art magazines. Because of his deep commitment to his craft, Nate was asked to keynote and perform at the NCFL conference in Kentucky over multiple years, 2006, 2013, and 2019. He also performed and hosted workshops at Texas Women University, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and in several locations throughout the DMV area. Nate Sr.'s other notable speaking engagements include a plethora of prominent high school and churches, including Potomac High School and My Father's House Christian International. Finally, he's excited about his published book, Behind Poetic Lines, available in December. And I'm taking that album, that work of art is out already. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But with my proud and esteemed honor, I want to welcome to the Spoken Soul Session Studio, our brother, Nate Sr. What's going on, my brother? What's going on?
Man, great introduction, man. How you doing, King?
Oh, man, I'm great, my brother. I'm great, man. I told you I was going to get you over here, man.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? You had me over there in the hot seat over there, man. It's only right that I return the favor, man.
I love it.
All right, man. I'm excited about this interview, man, because there's so many things I think that me and you, in particular, that we see eye to eye on a lot of views.
Yes.
And I want to get into some of these things, man. But first, the formalities. Let's get that out of the way, because I'll get a whole bunch of emails, man. The first question I ask all my guests: why poetry? Why spoken word?
One, I can't sing. If I could sing, I would be a songwriter, right? But for me, poetry is the only medicine that I found that I can hide behind words and tell you my exact truth, and you would want to listen to it rather than viewing it as a complaint. In so many ways, poetry has saved my life on many occasions where I felt like the world was crumbling down on me. But with a pen and a pad or just a piece of paper, I can create a world that I feel safe in.
I mean, that's a great answer. And I asked this question because, you know, I like to get the perspective of different artists because we think different. Artists think different. And you would be surprised how many people say the same exact thing, you know, that poetry saved their life. You know, I'm one of those people as well. You know, poetry was introduced to me in a time where I didn't have any outlets to like get that frustration out. So poetry was a saving grace for me. And to hear it, you know, coming from so many different artists from different walks of life, that poetry was the thing that actually saved them, that grounded them, that gave them something to aspire to. You know, I think it's phenomenal, man. And I wanted to know, you know, because you go by this pseudonym of the Improv King.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I correct?
Yes,
Is my information correct? That you are the Improv King?
Yes, sir.
Now, before we get into this little demonstration, you know what I'm saying? Before we get into the demonstration, I want to first make mention of the piece that was played in the beginning of the show.
Yes.
This was from our brother Nate Graham. This was powerful, man. This was powerful, man. This was powerful. It was more so along the line. I felt like this was theater. I felt like it was theater. The way you presented it. I could have easily seen this on a Broadway stage, like a monologue. The lights dim, and you're just doing your thing, man. You have a certain type of cadence that lends to the monologue. You know what I mean? I know you give great monologues, but that piece right there was epic, man. And it's along the lines of your father, you know, like yourself, myself included. I have a piece that I'm pretty much known for, you know, about my father. It's called The Ride with My Father. And a lot of the things that you said in this piece that you did, man, it runs right along the same lines. You even have this line where you say, "But Daddy," you know what I'm saying? And I got this line at the same, like I'm saying that my conclusion. But the way you said, what was that line? How did you say it? You was like, "Fuck out of here," like the frustration, man. But you seen that, like, yo, I've dealt with this in my life. I got over it. I'm stronger. Because people, they react to trauma differently.
Yes,
some people may
absolutely.
be more passive aggressive. Some people may be more aggressive. So, you know, people, they react to the trauma differently. But in this poem, what I sensed was that, yeah, I took this hurt, this pain, this anguish, and I flipped it because I use it as a tool or a mechanism to guide myself or to set a parameter for myself of what I'm not going to be. And I really got that.
And that's why I started it and ended it the way that I did. In the beginning, you know, Daddy, I wasn't worth raising, huh? And you didn't care that your absence altered my destiny from mountain heights to a damn corner. You know what I mean? We all know that for men, it take a man to raise one, right?
That's right.
And a player plays better when they got a coach in their life that actually cares. So you changed my trajectory. So I wasn't worth it, right? And at the end, but when I go home and I hug my mother and understand that you are a queen. You know, I remember when I was 7 years old, my mom told me, I can't teach you how to be a man because I'm not one. But what I can do is teach you how to respect women and fear God. Now, all of the other knucklehead stuff, I picked up running around with the wrong crowd. But in this particular piece, I'm letting you know this is where we stand. This is why I say I be day and you be night. So I'm going to leave you in your darkness so I can shine.
You should be called the analogy king, man. You got some dope analogies going here, man. I'm loving the analogies, man. And it's so real, man. It's so real. I ask myself that very question. What would I could have accomplished? What could I have done or what could I have achieved had my father been present?
Right.
Now I had male role models in my life. My stepfather was there. That was my male figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't agree with a lot of his tactics, but at the end of the day, I did respect. I respect him for the presence of being that man in my life and showing me things, how to navigate through life. You know, I'm always indebted to him for that. But I always wonder what it would have been like had I had a relationship with my father. You know, because I got brothers. I got a whole bunch of brothers, man. I tell you a quick story. One time I was working in a restaurant and dude came in the restaurant and he's at the counter and I'm back in the back cooking the food, but he keeps staring at me. And I'm like, yo, you gotta feel somebody staring at you. And he's staring at me and I'm looking, put my head back down, and I feel his eyes on me. He's just staring. He's not trying to hide it. So I look at him and I'm like, what's going on, brother? You good? And he was like, yo, he said, you come here for a second, bro. I was like, what's up? And he asked me, he said, do you know someone named DeWitt? And I was like, I was taken aback because I got a brother named DeWitt and my father is named DeWitt. So I was like,
what we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. you know, I'm giving the look now. I'm like, so he says, I say, my father is named DeWitt. And he looked at me, man. And he had this look in his face, man. It was like astonishment. And he was like, I'm your brother. He's like, I'm your brother. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm your older brother. And he said, I was looking at you because you look just like daddy. You look just like him. And I was like, wow, man. Profound. Wow. And it was at that time, and he got a chance to hear that poem because it was during that time that I met him, that my album, that was on my debut album. And that album just came out and I gave him a copy of that. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, like, yo, listen to that Ride with My Father. And he took me outside. He's like, yo, man, this is my daughter. This is your niece and everything. Yo, here's my number. And that was like, it was crazy to me. I was like, out of nowhere, it could have been 1 million people, you know, and I favored him that much that I could be recognized immediately. So I always wonder, like, what would it have been like to be connected with my father like that? And it's a hurtful feeling that, you know, a lot of people don't speak on it like that, and a lot of men go through that. Like, I was in the house with my step pops and he had a son with my mother. So I used to see the bond that they had, the bond that he had naturally with his son. And I used to want that, but I always felt I could never have that because, you know, that's not my father. He's not gonna love me the way my father would. He's not gonna look at me and see that the joy or the potential of what came from me. And it's very hurtful at times. And you got a lot of brothers out here that's dealing with that, and we bottle it up. That's why I really dig the fact that you speak about these different topics.
Yes.
You deal with topics in your rooms, on your platform, concerning black men, the mental health of black men, the well-being of black men. And I think it's very important because a lot of times it's just taken for granted that we're okay.
Yes.
Because we're functioning. We're functioning. We're working.
Worst assumption you can make.
Exactly. You know?
I think for me though, I look at how many times I got it wrong because I used to contemplate the same thing. Where would my life be had my father been in my life? And I think I'm a better man because he wasn't. And I had to learn because as a kid, I used to fight kids that knew their father. Like, if you knew your dad, I'm ready to fight because I didn't have mine, right? As a teen, the worst thing my mother could ever tell me is, you're just like your damn daddy. Because I mirrored my life to be everything that he wasn't. He didn't play sports. I played everything I could. He didn't. He smoked and drank. I never touched the stuff. He was bald at one point. I grew my hair. He started growing his hair. I was bald for 10 years. His hair started falling out. He shaved it. Now I'm growing my hair back. Wow. Know what I mean? So, but it's also I'm driven and determined to be the father I always wanted. Not to get the things I wished I had as a kid, but to teach them everything I wished I would have learned. If you listen in that poem, it's one of those lines. It says, y'all don't understand what's on my plate. In Southeast DC, life expectancy is 21. I'm 35, didn't have my first dream until I was 28. It wasn't safe for me to dream where I grew up at.
That was profound, man. That was that was profound. And I was like, wow, man. To think about it.
Yeah. But I had to give him grace. And now when I reflect on my father, I call him a hero. And a hero is none other than a person that faces adversity every day. That's it. You don't have to do the right thing. You don't have to do the wrong thing. If you get up and face today, whatever adversity comes, you're a hero. He didn't quit. I've learned also, I learned that my father was adopted. So, like, how can you want to be a father or be labeled as a parent when the people that made you didn't want you, right? For whatever reason. He went through some battles in his life. So it was impossible for him to show up for me when he couldn't show up for himself. So, I'm learning now to give grace. I'm learning now because if I don't give this grace, the same merit that I judge him on, my two boys can judge me.
Man, that's it right there, brother.
Know what I mean? Yeah, Dad's around, but he's always working. Dad's around, but he's always doing this. I wish Dad would have did this more and this less. And it's like, dude, but I'm here. You know what I mean? So if I don't give that grace now, I'll be scorned by it later.
Wow, man. I mean, that's deep because that's what I learned. That was the journey because me personally, I had a lot of resentment for my father, but I had more resentment for my mother. I had more resentment for her. And I had to work through that. And the only way to work through it was to confront it. And when you really look at it, like me, like in the poem with my father, I said, Daddy, I love you. I miss you, because he done passed on since then. But I said, I wish we shared more than the same face. I wish we shared the same desire to occupy the same space. That was my biggest dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be that apple in my father's eye. I wanted him to look at me how a father, the way I look at my daughter, when I look at my daughter, sometimes I just stare at her, I just marvel. Marvel. Because for a long time, I didn't want to have children because
I was so terrified of being a father because I'm like, what if I end up like my father? What if the pressure gets to me and I bolt out his life? Then, you know what I mean? It was so many freaking fears. And, my father's still alive. He's down in South Carolina. You know what I mean? And my wife invited him to the wedding, right? And this is I'm still hurt at this point. And I was like, well, if you invited him, your job is to keep him away from me. Since you wanted to invite him, you keep him away from me, right? And I'm going to tell you the pain that I was dealing with. We're in the back getting ready for the wedding. And I got my uncle back there who was a father figure to me. He was a Marine. My godfather who was a pastor. He's the man that married us. Some of my closest friends are in this room. We're talking about basketball, how I'm a ball hog. We're talking about, we're listening to country music and we're getting ready. And my father comes and knock at the door. And he comes in. Tension so thick you can cut it with a knife, right? And he walks up to me and asks me, do you need anything?
Wow.
And I'm sitting here like, the nerve of you, right? And so what I did was I introduced him to my spiritual father and godfather, my pastor. And I said, Reggie, this is my dad. Dad, this is my father.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once he saw that he wasn't wanted or fit in that room, he left and went to go sit next to my mom. But I regret that. I regret that. I wished I could have shook his hand. I wished I could have hugged him and told him this journey in my life, although you were never married, this journey in my life, I would love for you to be a part of it. Pain and pride prevented me from doing that. And I think guilt and pride prevented him from pushing any further. And years passed, man, years passed. Then I was hurt when I realized him and my mom were dating again. And I'm like, you didn't have a man in the house, so you raised one, but now you're going to go back to, you know what I mean? Man, we could talk.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
it's
tough.
The thing is, bro, the thing that resonates with me the most is that, the potential is still there.
Yes.
And that's so precious, bro. It's so precious, man.
Yeah.
Like my father could do like anything, man. Like, I wouldn't care what it was. He could have stole $1 million from me, and I would take it on the chin just for the opportunity to just be in the same room with him.
Yeah, I feel that. And that's why I really want to have some form of a relationship with, he's adopted. We don't know who his parents are. So, as far as his side of the family biologically, all I know is him. So I told my sons, y'all gotta look at me. Like, when this started to go thin, clock that time, you know what I mean? It's gonna be on you. Let's see what's hereditary. Let's see, I know he battled with, my mom told me he battled with cancer a couple of times. I had to get surgery. But it was in the abdominal area. I don't know really what it was, but that's the other thing that you lose. You lose history. You lose a sense of what you're made of, right? And the only thing I can tell my boys is this is what grand men do. This is how grand men's supposed to be, and we're going to redefine what that name is. So, that's where I'm at, man.
That's legacy, my brother.
Yeah.
And it's profound, man, because I rarely find brothers, man, that are able to articulate it in the fashion that you do. Be able to really express it where other people can feel it and other people can resonate and identify with that emotion. Because a lot of brothers are walking around here and they don't even know how to identify it. They don't know what it is. They don't know what's off, but they know something's off.
And that's where the anger comes in at. That's where the anger comes at. And when you're out and you're staring at someone and it's like, man, I wish my heart can reach out to this kid, but he's not ready to hear anything yet. And he just sees you looking at him and automatically he's angry. Not just because you're staring at him, he's afraid that you can see him. You can see the vulnerability. You can see the hurt. You can see the pain. You can see what I'm dealing with. So my automatic response is, what you looking at? Do I know you? You know what I mean? You don't know me, but I know your experience. But you're not ready to have that conversation yet. You know what I mean? And a lot of these kids, I think the word is called angst, A-N-G-S-T. It's when you have a lot of pent up bottled emotion, but you don't know how to express it. So you resorted to anger because anger becomes your primary source of communication.
And that's the situation for a lot of brothers out there.
Yeah.
And for poetry, it was poetry that gave me an outlet to be able to express that. Because before I used to just write, it was for me, and I would, like, people who were close to me, I would let them read some of my work. And I really got into the actual craft of it, but the therapy of poetry, man, it like, without it, I say my name is Poetic Black like my heart used to be, poetic like my thoughts, but black how my heart used to be. And if it wasn't for that black, then my light wouldn't be so prominent. My light wouldn't be prominent, and I walk with that. I walk with that in me, that, it's the black in me that allows me to see the light I need to be, where I'm focused, where I'm going. I need to see that light. And if all around me is darkness, that means I'm focused, so I really commend you, brother. I applaud you, for working through these things and even being vulnerable enough to even talk about that, man. Because it's a touchy subject, man. I found myself getting emotional because it's a very touchy subject. It's a lot of us go through it, but we're not able to communicate how we feel. So, like you said, we have that bottled up anger inside of us, and we just walk around with it. But it's refreshing to see brothers that's able to let it go, able to just say, let me talk to somebody about this, or let me just get it out in a poem, get it out in a performance, or whatever it may be, but get it out, use it as a as a ventilation, to get out all of those negative things, those feelings and emotions, man. But that's powerful, bro. But I don't want to make the interview all emotional, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming over here and trying to do your emotional thing in the studio, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was on Ayana. Ayana Fix My Life. One of those intervention segments they do.
Yeah.
But man, I want to ask you, because we're gonna get you to spit some pieces too, man. But I wanted to ask you, how did you get the name the Improv King?
Oh man, you're going back to elementary, middle school, and high school now. So a lot of my closest friends, classmates, and a few of my English teachers would always say, if I give you a word, can you write something, right? My English teacher in high school, Miss Hakima Muhammad, she would always have me write a poem based on her age every year that I was there with her. But it was just the ability to create this mental exercise, right? They give you a word. We give like phrases or actual prompts now, but they would give me one word, and I would have to quickly figure out how that one word resonates with me. Like if they gave me the color orange, immediately I'm thinking about jumpsuits, prison, where I don't want to be, where some of my friends went, and how prisons have a larger acceptance rate than college. So in all of that, I got to figure out how to spew this to you, keep a cadence, make it sound impactful while thinking about what's next, right? So I was able to do that very, very consistently as a kid, and it just stuck with me to the point that I can be out with my boys playing basketball, I can be out with my wife, I can be outside playing with my kids, and a poem will hit me, and while I'm interacting, I'm writing it in my head. So by the time I get home, I'm able to like put it down.
Yeah, that process, man, that's an elevated process. Similar like that, the way I write. I will write a poem in my head. Like A Ride With My Father was in my head for a whole 2 years before I even put anything to paper. Like it was just in my head. I know what I wanted to do with it. I know I wanted to open it up with a particular song. I know I wanted to touch on certain points, but it hadn't formulated itself yet. But it was in my head though, so I understand that process.
I'm glad you put it like that, because for me, I can't do a poem without having the title. So when I'm given words or a prompt, that becomes the title, because to me, poetry are my kids, right? So the way you said I had to sit on it for for 2 years. You know, it was conceived already. It was just the due date didn't happen yet, right? So each poem, because poetry is soul work, it's healing, it's whatever, you know, we created. And when we give birth to it, you know, it's now for the world. You know what I mean? Like God, we are all given the power of spoken word, you know, because our God is a speaking God. And when we push these things forward, man, you know, our children got to go out there and do what we set it to do. You know what I mean? It's designed and created. We created it to touch a mind, to touch a heart, to move a person. You know, some may not understand it, but for those that don't understand it, I love the quote that James Baldwin says, you know, if I'm speaking over your head, then I'm talking to the level that you should be thinking. So
profound.
Yeah.
Baldwin, that's my man right there, man. That's my man right there, Baldwin, man. Oh, man.
So, yeah, man. And so, you know, it was necessary for that to sit with you for 2 years. It was necessary. Yeah. Because if you would have tried to do it in 2 days, you wouldn't have been ready.
It wouldn't have measured up. It wouldn't have measured up to what it became, because it definitely was something that I had to really sit on, because I wanted to capture every single element of what I felt. And every time, I don't perform that poem a lot no more, you know, but every time I've performed it, like before I performed it, you know, they got live footage of me performing it. It's like I take a moment to get myself in that space. It's a certain space I gotta be in to spit that poem. If I'm not in that space, I can't spit it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really difficult. But
it's draining.
It's draining. Yeah, that's the exact word I wanted. Draining. That's how you feel. You feel like, I'm done.
I really dislike fans sometimes when even though they mean well, like, oh my God, I really felt that, I can identify with that. Can you do that poem again? And you don't know where I was in my life and where I got to go back mentally to perform that piece. So basically what you're telling me to my face is, you like me hurt and wounded. You like me traumatized. You don't like the heal version of me, and a conversation just won't do. Now I gotta perform, right? So
that's right.
For me, it's not. I share it, but I don't always want to relive it. And I think that's the barrier that fans don't really understand. Like there's a part of us. I like talking about the secrets of a poet, right? And the secret of the poet is, how much of me am I putting in this poem versus how much is it just creative intellect? You know, my goddess glides across the room, or I'm looking at all 200 feet of your small and large intestines sitting on the couch, realizing that you're full of shit. Like, you know, it's like, how much of it, you know, are we going to really look at versus how creative can we be, right? Funny though, I was talking with my wife this morning, and we were talking about how music isn't the same as it was back then. You know what I mean? We were listening to Tender Love and Babyface and all of this stuff, and she was like, all Babyface music sounds the same. It does. But they found creative ways to say, I want to make love to you. And now it's just Snapchat me that thing if it's cool. You know what I mean? So like they straight to the raunchy, where they were more soulful and creative. So, you know, it's all about your perspective and how you view it.
Indeed, man. We look at it, man. Talk about them lyrics. I just heard this new song, man. What was it? What's her name? Something red. Something. Yeah. She's something Booty red. Hole Brown. Booty hole brown. And I seen what you call it.
Daddy.
Yeah, I seen a meme of a football team, right? That was warming up. Like they getting themselves hyped and they singing this song.
Yeah.
I'm like, for real? I'm like, y'all serious? And it's like they was twerking too. I was like, yo, this is the times have changed. But when you look at the lyrics, man, when you look at the lyrics of the music, people don't realize that, you know, you have to be mindful of what you ingest.
Right.
And the ingest is not only what you eat.
Right.
But what you look at, what you listen to, what you partake in.
That part.
All of these things are the things that's you consume them and they will alter you.
The funny thing about it is also my wife, we fasted from music for about 2 weeks. And when I tell you there was a major difference, because I listen to a lot of trap music. I listen to a lot of street music. I love hip hop, but I love rap, right? And when you're not listening to this aggressive stuff all day, every day, because whatever you view or whatever you're focused on enlarges itself in life. Like you're manifesting things. Like if you're like, oh my God, I'm hungry. You know, you're going to start smelling certain smells and feeling certain cravings and seeing certain restaurants. But, you know, we got away from the aggressive stuff. And only thing we listened to as far as music was instrumental jazz. That's it. No lyrics. Nothing to guide our attention towards anything. And when I tell you I'm not listening to sad love R&B, so I'm like, man, you know, my wife don't do this the way she used to. I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to nothing aggressive. I'm not listening to nothing violent. I'm not, you know what I mean? And it's like, dang, you know what I mean? And just that time in the car riding without the radio on, and you have the opportunity to really think and think about how you feel and what's on your mind, and you don't have to cipher through a bunch of political BS.
Yep.
It was interesting.
That's an exercise, man. I might think about, you know, partaking in something like that.
Yeah.
You know, fasting from music. You know, there was a time where I didn't listen to music because of religious beliefs. You know, and it was really hard because I feel I'm really connected. You know, music can be good. Like, people use music to suggest people to do evil things. But music is also used to suggest people to do good and positive things.
Yes.
Like, you ever listen to gospel when, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom, she used to play gospel music when we was young. And like the Sunday morning or Saturday morning is like gospel, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, the gospel keynotes. And
Florida,
you know what I'm saying?
Choir.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? BB and CC Wine.
Yes.
And we listening to all this music, but it puts you in a certain feel.
Yes.
It puts you in a certain energy that you want to be better. You want to be a better version of yourself. Mm-hmm. So music has that capability the same way words do. You know, words can inspire, words can like just really destroy, but it's what you use it for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when you put yourself in that position to be around not even just artists, but just being mindful of what you're listening to, even though you may know better. Like, you're a very intelligent brother, you know what I'm saying? You can listen to drill, and I wouldn't think that you're gonna go get a gun and just start, you know what I'm saying, walking with your pants hanging down. I feel that you're way more intelligent than that.
Absolutely.
So I know you know the difference to how to differentiate and how to separate. But some people don't. Some people don't. But even the people that do know how to separate, you still have to be leery. You have to be, you know, you have to be leery. Like, you can know all about cholesterol. You can have your PhD in cholesterol and all that. But you know, if you eat this right here, it's going to raise your cholesterol. It's like, all right, I got to be mindful. I have the knowledge of it, but I still have to be mindful. So even in that, you definitely got to be mindful of what you listen to, because you'll never know what type of seeds is being thrown in your ear, and that's manifesting. You listening to somebody's perception on things, and it can alter you. But
my grandmother used to say it like this: anything in your habitat that doesn't mean you well and for the benefit of your good has the potential to destroy you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's facts right there, man. Now, we ain't gonna try to get, I know what you're trying to do, man. You're trying to like divert my attention and think I don't want no example. We want an example over here at the Spoken Soul Session Studio. We want an example of your improv abilities, man.
All right, let's do it.
So this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see. I got a lamp on my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I got a glass.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pen. And I got a keyboard.
Hold on. Lamp.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Lamp. Glass. Pen. Keyboard.
Yeah, and to top it off, let's make it 5.
Uh-huh.
And hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
All right. Do your worst, brother.
I was feeling kind of down just the other day. Mesmerized by the nights that I had failure before in my life, and like a great idea, my lamp turned on and I was instantly realizing how my glass is half full. I never knew it before, but I read it in his word. He said, write the vision so that he that runneth may see it. So I picked up my pen. God, I need you to breathe your life in me. I need you to touch me in a way that it creates a beautiful melody. And I will gladly scale the ivories on the keyboards of the people's heart that you have allowed me to speak into. God, it's going to take so much for this soul to get clean. So I ask that you give me a spiritual hand sanitizer to wipe away all of my regrets. Forgive me for all the sin that I've been in. I'm trapped in a maze, so call me amazing, and it's all because of you. As these 4 walls are starting to close in, I'm regretting a lot of my youth. Missed words, missed opportunities. But I realize this grass can be defined by what we place in it, because the only difference between a garden and graves are bodies. And I refuse to be a lost soul. In soul sessions. That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You get a bomb for that. Oh man, amazing, man. That's amazing, man. Like, what was your process, man? Like, what do you do, man? Because like certain people I've come across, my homeboy, my brother from another mother, Pain. He's able to do that. He's able to like off the fly. You know, I remember one time, this is no bullshit. I remember one time we got a show. And I'm like, yo, all right, we ready to do the show, whatever the case may be. And we get on stage, we're performing. I do my part. And I throw it to him. And he says something totally different than what he's supposed to be saying. Now we got cues. So I know when he say this, it's my cue to go. So he'll say a whole bunch of different stuff along the same lines the way he's supposed to say it, but it's in a whole different way. Yeah. But he'll end it off with the cue that I'm waiting on. And I'm like, wow, man, off the fly. So it's not many people I know that can do that effectively. Like you have people who try to do it, and I see people attempt to do it, but to do it effectively and make it make sense, man. And that was just absolutely, that was absolutely wonderful right there.
The only difference between the garden and, okay, anyway.
Yeah, man, you said some stuff, man. You said some stuff. The analogy king too. The analogy king.
I never credit me. Anytime I enter enter anything poetic, I say the same words that Jesus said in St. John. Father, the hour has come to glorify your Son so that the Son may glorify the Father. So immediately I take me out of it, right? And when I get I'm like, how does all of these line up, right? And I was like, well, he's in a room. Well, what if I'm in a room and I feel trapped and I can't get out? Well, I need to change my circumstances. And the only way you can change your circumstances is by, having a good prayer life, man. So, you can either look at the glass half empty or half full. I had a great idea, so that lamp came on. So all of these things, I was like, how am I going to work the keyboard? You know what I mean? But, it's just how things resonate with you. And once you tap into that emotion, everything is an emotion, right? Once you find an emotion, you can just ride. It's a vibration. It's like, I don't know if you ever been surfing before, but it's like waves that come in. It's like waves.
I don't know too many black people that be surfing, man. You be surfing, brother?
No, I tried boogie boarding once and I'll never do it again.
Oh man.
Not for me. Not for me. I almost drowned. But yeah, it's just a wave that comes in and you just gotta ride that wave. You just gotta ride that wave. That's why for poets, it's very important to be a student of your craft. You have to read. Know what I mean? You have to find different ways to say simple things. Know what I mean? And I'm not saying be so verbally gifted that you're creatively stupid. But you have to, because some people
that's a
do
t-shirt.
That.
That's a t-shirt.
some people credit me. But
yeah, that's
people,
a t-shirt. Yeah, that's a t-shirt. That might be merch coming soon.
Right? You know what I mean? Like they want to just, I'm a poet, and they want to give you all of these huge stat 9 words. You know what I mean? But what are you saying?
What are you saying?
And, but it's important to be a student of it because, it's all about emotion. What am I going to feel when you get off the mic? That's the thing that we should always ask ourselves before we get up there, because nobody is going to remember everything that you say. Like the only reason we're going to remember this conversation is because it's being recorded, right? When the recording goes off and you and I have a conversation 10 years from now, verbatim, what did we talk about? You're not going to be able to recall it, right? But you're going to remember how you felt this day. Like, man, I remember I talked to this dude, and you know what I mean? Good brother, woo woo. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have those feelings. So what is it that you want people to feel? And a lot of people don't care. And
that's amazing. It's amazing you said. I had the pleasure of interviewing Ed Mabry, and if you know Ed Mabry,
yes,
Ed is a beast, man. He's a beast with it, man. The most accomplished spoken word artist that I know today, as far as competition is concerned,
hands down,
grand slams, hands down. And I had the pleasure of sitting down with this brother, man, a well of information, and he explained it in that way. He said when you get on that stage, you got somebody's time. 3, 5, 6 minutes, it doesn't matter, but you got somebody's time that they can never get back.
Yes.
So you as an artist, it's your obligation to say, whether or not they're gonna appreciate what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm not gonna come up here and half-ass you. I'm not gonna come up here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna play with this thing. No, I'm gonna give you the best version of me that I can give you, and hope you accept it. But being mindful of your audience and being mindful of their time. I think a lot of poets, if poets had that type of mentality, they would think twice about what they scribe or what they release to the world.
Yes.
What they release, because you can scribe all day, but what you decide to release, what you decide to let the people hear, and what you attach to your name is very important.
And also having the discipline to know the difference. Because as an artist, everything that we write, we don't have to share.
That's right.
I got pieces that will never see the light of day.
Facts.
I just had to get it out.
Yep, facts. I got pieces like that as well that nobody ever heard, nobody ever will, because it was for me, it was therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, and what I noticed too, as being a performance artist, right? Being a performance artist, because I came in the game slamming. That was my forte, slamming. And I learned a lot. Just attending different slams and watching the audience. Because everybody don't want to be educated.
No.
People mostly want to be entertained.
Yes.
Now, if you can find a fusion between the two, edutainment, where you can educate someone and at the same time entertain them, now you got something that's gold. You got something that's gold. You know, because you gotta be able to, you know, weigh out or just balance yourself between the two extremes. But you know, it's not easy to do. Right. You know, it's not easy to do. But when you have that, and obviously, my brother, you got that, and it's a beautiful thing, man. And then you can really affect change and really affect people with your words. Because I noticed when I looked at audience members, like I'll give you a prime example. One time I was doing a slam, right? And I ain't even gonna say his name, but I was slamming, and it was me and him at final stage. So because of the fact, how did he get the pick? No, we flipped the coin to see who would go first with final stage. We flipped the coin and he won the coin toss. So the MC asked him, you want to go first or you want him to go first? So he said, I'm going first. He said, yeah, I'm gonna go first. I said, oh, word. So the MC asked him, he said, you sure about that? He's like, yeah, I'm going first. So he went first.
Never go first.
Never. But he went first.
And let me make my adjustment.
And he exactly what he did was he did a sex poem. He did a sex poem. It's a very graphic poem, and he get a lot of good reactions from this poem when he perform it from place to place. Because I've seen him perform the poem before, and it gets a lot of reaction, crowd participation, and all that. But while he was spitting it, what I did was I was like, I'm looking at the audience. A good 40% of the audience wasn't feeling it. They wasn't feeling it. Now, some people was drunk, some people was, you know, they was drinking it. Oh yeah, they was feeling it, you know. But I'm looking at the people in the audience. Majority of them, like a good portion of them, was not feeling it. So I said, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I had a sex piece I could have did. I had an erotic piece I could have did to rival that piece. But I said, nah, I'm gonna freak it. I'm gonna do a love piece.
There you go.
So when I did the love piece, it kind of changed the mood. It changed everything. And everybody looked at what he was saying as insignificant and worthless. And they was looking at what I was saying as something that should be applauded and something that was dope, you know? And it was a switcheroo. And I got that by just looking at the audience, and I wound up winning that slam. I wound up winning it. But that's what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know who your audience is. And you gotta know people don't want to be bored. People come out to shows in order to be entertained. They want to have a good time. They don't want to know all the chakras. You know what I'm saying? If you can tell them the chakras in a clever way, they don't want to know all the like, yo, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear that, man. You're not getting booked again.
I remember the first love poem I've ever written. Right? I was in high school. I thought I was in love. I was friend zoned. And the title of the piece was called The Love I'll Never Know. And when I tell you, man, when she finally heard the piece, it was like, I messed up. And I'm looking at her like, yeah, you did. So I don't know those love poems, man, because there's a lot. With erotic poetry, and this is just my perspective, you have three different avenues, right? You have elegant erotic, which is tasteful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You have pornetry, which is just raunchy, right?
Raunchy.
And then you have, I don't live this. I watch a bunch of porn, so I'm gonna just talk about what I saw. You know what I mean? But when it comes with a love piece, you know, it's either going to be infatuation, lust, adornment, honor, respect, heartbreak, pain. You know what I mean? It's so many different avenues, man. But I remember that poem, and the funny story about it is, I went to go visit my aunt in a nursing home, and that girl was the med tech that gave my aunt her prescriptions every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Small world.
Small world. Man.
That's crazy, man. When you really look at it, right? I mean, love as a topic, because I want to call you on that love joint, because you only did an improv piece, man. You real good, man, at, you know what I'm saying, dancing out of performing, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do the
you
love
real
piece
good.
for you, and we can talk about it after, all right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, like for real, man. I really want to hear, because they want to hear poetry.
Yeah.
My audience want to know who this dude is right here, man. Who is this cat?
Here's the love poem.
All right, hold. Let me set the stage up.
Okay.
You gotta get the proper introduction. You got the red carpet out. All right. Coming to the stage to perform his first written piece. Let's give it up for our brother, Nate Sr.
This piece is entitled The Love I'll Never Know. I shouldn't be telling you this for the simple reason because it's been 4 months, 9 weeks, 3 days, 42 minutes since we first met, and I was still too nervous to talk to you before even knowing who you was. Days of dreaming and fantasizing about the day of our first kiss, long and anxiously waiting for the day that our lips will first touch before I even knew your name. But I stopped. Paused, because I was caught up in the mainframe of the old names that did nothing but break your heart, cause you nothing but tears, heartache, and pain, and I realized I don't even know you. So I introduced myself to you in math class, and it was there that I learned that you had 3 smiles and 2 laughs, and how vividly I remember in drama class on stage where I silently read your poetry that introduced me to the first page of your life, and I thought to myself, I want to know more. I want to learn every curve, inch, and movement of your body from your neck up. Yeah. I want to be so in depth in your thoughts that I can find the secrets to your heart and a place in it for me that even when you feel you hate me, I'll forever be inside you. I want to be the first man to give you a mental orgasm, knowing that you were the only woman to sleep in my presence under the moonlight that one night I counted all 78 eyelashes under your left eye. I shouldn't be telling you this for the simple reason because if you're the love that I'll never know, then I guess I'll never learn to love. Boom.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. 3 smiles and 2 laughs.
Yeah, man. No woman has the exact same smile and laugh. You know, like they have this genuine laugh, like they let their guard down and they can just be them. Then they have a that's cute. And then they have I'm looking at you and I feel safe with you. And that smile is different. That first laugh, that's cute laugh. And then they have the laugh when they're with their family. Have you ever noticed how people are different when they're around their family? And that laugh ain't like the laugh that you get. You know what I mean? So, and all of that was to say, I've studied you so much. And if you would just give me the opportunity, I would love you the way that you deserve.
That's a powerful sentiment, man.
Yeah.
You said 78 eyelashes, man.
Yeah, man. So
that's very meticulous, man. That sounds like that dude from what's his name from You. You see that? You ever see that show You?
Yeah, but that dude studies Joe. That's his name. Joe.
Yeah, Joe, man. Joe get every detail. He knows every detail. But people who pay attention to detail is people who really make the difference. Those are the people that make the difference. They make the impression. And to study, like, and that's the thing, right? I used to say this years ago. I think I was maybe going into my 30s. And I would say that, it's impossible, because people used to say, you can't understand a woman. It's impossible to understand a woman. They say you can't live with them, you can't live without them. And they're impossible. They're an anomaly that you just can't figure out, and an enigma and all that. And I used to say, well, how is it that you can't understand something that was designed for you?
Right.
She's designed for you, and you designed for her. So if you know your measurements, like if you go into a tailor-made shop and you say, okay, I want to get some trousers. And he say, do you know your measurements? And you say, yeah, I know my measurements. And you give him some off measurements because you don't know.
You're going to come out there looking messed up.
You're going to come out there looking messed up because you're ignorant you don't have the knowledge of who you are. You don't know things about you. So if you know you, it's impossible for you not to understand that which is designed for you.
Your partner is a reflection of your intellect. Right? And
that's powerful.
So many men are out here calling a woman wife or wifey, and their name ain't even good on a piece of paper, but they want to put their name on a woman. So many men are calling women their rib just because they're hungry. Not because she's a part of them. Know what I mean? And when you understand that, because ignorance can sound wise if you haven't been educated. The problem is we get to a place where we just listen and we don't hear. And we don't hear for understanding. Know what I mean? Listening is just, all right, I hear you talking. Now I want to talk about what's important to me. If the Bible says faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing, then that's what we should be doing. If she means something to you, hear her out. Simple.
Indeed, man. And I think, a lot of brothers around here, they trying to put gloves on their feet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They trying to wear gloves like socks, nah, she don't go in your feet.
There you go.
Gloves don't go in your feet, they go in your hand. And it's powerful, man, when you get that type of understanding. And it comes with time when you mature. When you mature, because when we were younger, we had a lot of different views. Yeah. We had different views. You know what I'm saying?
We
different views.
Talk about those though.
We talk about those views. But now the evolution, of us today as men is powerful. Now, I wanted to talk to you about something about your faith.
Yes.
Because it's obvious to me that you're a man of God.
Yeah.
I don't know your particular persuasion of how you view God or what's your ideology, but it's obvious to me, it's prevalent in your behavior, in your character, in your speech, that you are a man of God.
Absolutely.
So what do God mean to you, my brother? Talk about that for a minute.
Okay, so before I knew God for myself, I knew the God of my grandparents. Oh, they were some praying people. My grandfather was the greatest man that I've ever known to live. He was a pastor down in South Carolina as well. And I never seen God fail them. So whenever I would pray as a child, I would pray to the God of my grandparents, right? I knew religion, but then I got experienced the church hurt, right? And after recovering from church hurt, I found relationship. And it's going to sound crazy, Black. I got the revelation listening to Marvin Gaye. When Marvin Gaye said, and when he said it, I heard it the way God said it. He said, I want you, but I want you to want me the way that I want you.
That's powerful. See, that's the trick. We can want people, and we can want people to want us. But the trick is, can we find somebody that want us the way we want them? That's the key, man. That's the key. And it's all in perception, and it's very powerful. It's very powerful. You know, like God, you know, because people see, like when I was younger, you know, I was very religious. Very religious. You know, if you saw me, you see me with the big beard, the turban on my head. I would wear thobes and things of that nature. Very staunch in religion. But as I got older, you start seeing the purpose, and that's the difference between religion and spirituality.
Same thing, man. For me, I was on fire for God after I got baptized as a teenager, and I'm like, man, I got to get out here and win souls and evangelize, right? And then I realized, if I'm an ambassador, I could be the only version of Jesus that they see. So I have to live by an example.
That's right.
And you don't have to go out here and tell people how good your religion is. You can show them by having that relationship with them. And that's all people care about. Because then you get into the what's the right, what's the wrong, you know, all of the politics and the fluff and the semantics of it, right? None of that matters. Every year, Black, I start my year off saying the exact same thing. I want to live the same life that Jesus did. I'm going to hang around a bunch of sinners, right? Because I'm not perfect. I'm going to finish my assignments, and I'm going to go to sleep on a boat. I know how to calm storms. We go to school, right? And you get the textbooks. And when you go up to the next grade, you get new textbooks. But yet we've been studying the same religious books for centuries. When are we going to graduate and start focusing more on people? We care more about phones than we do a human life. Indeed. I got a problem with that.
Indeed. That, and then you see it, man. It's so prevalent, man. Our eyes have become desensitized.
Yeah.
You know, when we see people hurting, we don't feel nothing.
No, we just recorded and screamed World Star.
World Star. Like in New York, where I'm at in New York, man. Like literally, you can walk in the train station, you can walk out in the street, and you would actually see. Like the other day, I'm bringing my daughter home, and a dude is laid out in the street. He's laid out. The ambulance is right there, and I asked one of the pedestrians, what happened? You know what I'm saying? He got knocked out. I thought a car hit him. I said, well, what? A car came in? No. He got knocked out. You know, and I'm like, wow. And people walking by, like it's nothing. It's nothing. He's laid out.
But leave your phone unlocked at your girl house and be heading to work. I guarantee you gonna buck a you.
You coming back. You coming back.
I feel led to do this piece. It's not a religious piece. It's the name of the piece is called Street Sign Soldiers.
Street Sign Soldiers. All right, so hold on. Let me set the stage up for you.
All right.
Coming back to the stage, performing his second written piece of work. Let's give it up for our brother, Nate Sr.
The project is a project where the prospects can't defy the odds. I hate to sadden y'all with this news, but it's the truth that resides in my heart. See, there was two dudes or two fools that didn't quite understand the rules of being a street sign soldier. See, in this life, the children are never young. They're barely old enough to patrol the corners. But see, my cousin, he was from T Street, but his best friend was from the Ave. Now, that's two dudes from two hoods. I'll sit back and let you do the math because the genesis of nemesis starts here. Good friends, but better enemies, the ways of street law. Street games and shiny chains that I'm too broke to buy, but I'm also too smart to pay for. But if my cousin opened up his eyes and valued life and took a closer look inside himself, he'll see that he's been living a no-good Joe Hood hand-me-down tradition, and he will refuse to be another stain in the street. But soon he'll be facing 20 to life and just wishing because nowadays, fuck donuts, police love dark meat. I watched my aunt's tears drip, dropped, and poured as she knew she lost to the streets her once beloved baby boy. And on the day as dark as the night, I knew something went wrong. I heard the devil sing a lullaby, different tune, same song. On the street signs of 8th and H, a forgotten friend but familiar foe. So my cousin was planning to hate. Their words flew like daggers, but it didn't matter because it was up to me to tell him come home. And as I see them from a distance to myself, I'm thinking I'm paying a debt that I don't even owe. To the shadows, my cousin fades to black, fighting over a gun, and I heard a sound go pow, like that. And I'm only praying my cousin won. But no, silence. And the potential of my cousin was too high to be denied by violence. He never saw the 12th grade. He barely saw his 12th age, only to have life stolen by a 12 gauge. Wow. His funeral was in 12 days. In my mind, I see him dying. Like souls, my shower's crying as I watched his body shiver, then collapse. I can only pray now that I had him back. And please tell me this isn't life because the world don't need this. And if so, how can my cousin find heaven if he never found Jesus? I'm not a doctor, but the street knowledge amazed the scholars when our youth is medically proven and diagnosed to be ADG, ADH, and ADS, addicted to the guns, addicted to the hate, and addicted to these damn street signs. Please don't let your loved ones end up like mine. As we are in the midst of our own genocide, shackled to handcuffs, chains modified, life comes and goes. But our youth, they rather rep street signs. Poem.
Wow, man. Wow. Absolutely phenomenal. Whoa, that's a heavy piece, bro. I love the parallel you use with the 12.
Yes.
That whole scheme was crazy. Street signs. This is profound because you find brothers who live and die over street signs for the block. Yeah. Yo, I'm from Hoover Deuce. Mm-hmm. I'm from 63rd. Mm-hmm. I'm rolling 60s. Mm-hmm. You know, when you really look at it, man, you know, this is a problem in our community. Yeah. When you have no identity, you're easily duped, easily sold in a bag of goods. Mm-hmm. You know, look at the current condition of our people when you look at us as a whole. Yeah. I'm just talking about people in America, black people living in America. Mm-hmm. You know, we involved in everything. Yeah. We have allegiance to everything. You find no matter what religion it is, we are part of all of them. Mm-hmm. And we're staunch and we're the forefront. We're in the forefront and the foremost of the individuals who worship. When you see black people worship in the church, yep. You look at white people worship in the church and you see black people worship. It's intensified. It's definitely different. Black people go to church all day. Like all day. They go to church all day. And they don't you can't beat them in worship. But when you look at our condition, it's like we are in the worst positions. We're in the worst positions. But it's all because, you know, I believe in my opinion is that it's about application. Mm-hmm. We don't see the God in us. No. You know, our understanding of God is something external.
Yes.
Something that we can't achieve or we can't accomplish, we can't understand or comprehend. But God is in you. You know, in every religion, they say, like, I'll give you an example. Like in the Muslim religion, you know, Allah says that He has placed man on the earth as Khalifa.
Yeah.
Khalifa is like a caretaker, a vicegerent. You know, in the Bible, you read verses that ye are gods.
Yes.
You know, let us make man in our image. You know, and you see these passages, and it's telling you right in your face the power that you possess. You know, if God breathed life into you, if you believe that God breathed life into Adam, and from Adam everybody else come into existence, that means that we have that essence of the Most High, but we don't always live up to it. You know, that's why in my earlier years when I was religious, I couldn't see the righteousness in Christian people.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't see the righteousness in Jewish people or Buddhists. You know, only thing I saw was the righteousness in Islam.
Yeah.
Because I was closed-minded, you know? And a lot of times religion do that. It kind of prompts you to do that.
It makes you elitist. Yeah.
Exactly. We're the top and everybody else is beneath us. But when you think of the teachings of Jesus, he was very humble,
very
so. Kind,
very much so,
very kind, very caring and understanding and empathetic. So when you look at the image of Jesus in the Bible, it doesn't always correspond to the image of the people that walk and saying they're Christ-like.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Muslims. You have Muslims who say, oh, we believe in Allah. But you look at their character and you be like, wow, man, you cursing people out, you're disrespectful, you're lying, you're cheating. You know, this is not what we represent. But now in my age where I'm at now, my mature age, man, I see righteousness in people. And you can get there. You can get righteousness from different avenues.
Oh,
it's not just no one-stop shop. Oh, this, if you're not this, then you're doomed and damned. This is the pill they try to sell you. The bag of goods Malcolm was talking about.
The thing is, we release out of our mouths, I'm a product of my environment. You know, I think Brother Malcolm said it best. We've never been outnumbered. We are just out-organized. And so we lack structure, we lack discipline, we lack teamwork, because, you know, we gotta shine, you know, bling bling, right?
That's right.
We have to wear our money, and we're so in a hurt. When I looked at Asian America, or just Asians period, their money stays within themselves for 2 weeks. When you look at the Hispanic community, their money stays within themselves for 10 days. When you look at white America, their money stays, when I say stays within, they go to merchants, they invest, they purchase with people that look like them, right? With white America, it stays for 5 days. When you look at us, the money stays in for 2 hours.
2 hours now. I remember it was 6. 2 hours, and we going back.
You gotta look at the stimulus checks. We was in a hurry. What's the first thing we do when we get our taxes? You know, the PPP loans, and, you know, all of this other stuff. And I remember at a point it was 6, man. Like we're so in a hurry, but we lack just vision. We lack organization skills. We lack
and we allow things like religion.
Yes, we
allow things like religion.
And that's the biggest thing, because everybody wants to be the head and nobody wants to be the legs.
Exactly.
You don't want to be the legs. I'm comfortable if we're going to be successful. I'll be the elbow, because you can't sign nothing without bending the elbow. Know what I mean? I'll be the big toe. You know, in biblical times and in medieval times, when a kingdom was taken over, They would cut off the thumbs and the big toes of the king and parade them throughout the village, right? Why? Because if you cut off the thumbs, you can't hold a sword properly. And if you cut off the big toes, you can't run. I'm comfortable with being the big toe. A lot of people don't have that mindset. Whatever it takes for us to get there, I'm willing to do it. But everybody wants to be the face.
That's right.
Everybody wants to be the head.
That's right, man. And it's crazy. And hopefully, man, we're like-minded people like ourselves, man. We're very like-minded, man. You know, we can be that change that we want to see in the world. And with our powerful voices, man, we can, you know what I'm saying, go out there and inspire people, because that's what's needed. You know, and I've made that vow, you know, to myself with my pen. You know, I'm at the point in my life whereas, you know, I want to write with purpose. I just don't want to write vain, superficial similes. I want my words to mean something. I want to be able to effect some form of change.
Yeah.
And that's my aspiration for when I write. Now, I used to write just to be slick. You know what I'm saying? I got a gift with wordplay, and I'll say some slick stuff. But it's more than that now. It's bigger than that, you know. And when you look at the greats, the Gil Scott Herons, you know, the Langstons, the last poets, you know, all of these individuals who were pioneers and laid it down, showed us the way.
Yeah.
You know, they were revolutionaries, man. You know, stuff like when I was talking to Ed Maybury, he was like, it's very important that we take these pieces, these iconic pieces, and revamp them.
Yeah.
You know, do a new spin on it. You know what I'm saying? That the revolution won't be televised, to remind the people that we're still at it.
You know,
exactly.
The thing about it is, when you look at poets and you look at who we are and what we represent, we're more than artists. We're more than just people, wordsmiths, right? Again, I'm a history buff. When you look at times where they became dictatorships, the first thing they did was burn books and destroyed and killed scholars.
That's right.
Poets were considered scholars back then, right? And anything that can inspire, uplift, or motivate the mind had to go.
That's right.
And now here we are, and some of us are using our talents for evil. Some of us are abusing it. Or some of us, and I think out of all of them, this is the worst. Some of us are just choosing to be silent.
That's deep.
I often said, if you're the type of poet that only write about you, you don't have much to say. With so much that's going on in the world, with so much that are going on with our children, with so much that is going on with who we are as a society and a race, if all you can muster up is the ability to write about you.
That's right, man. That's my sentiment exactly, man. Exactly that. You know, you got to write for something more.
Yeah. It
got to be a purpose behind this, man. It got to be an end goal. We're not just here just having fun. It may be fun while we're doing it, but this is not just a game. This is something that's serious, man.
And that's why I wrote BMH. My biggest concern was I didn't want to let the brothers down. I didn't want to let the men down. I'm going to be touching on so much stuff for all men, not just me. And again, I know it's bigger issues in the world, but I got to focus on the world that I know. And
that's
I
right.
can't let the brothers down. And the night that I performed it, and again, thank you, King, for being there and showing support and love and just, you know, standing in solidarity with me. But yeah, man, that was dope.
That was a phenomenal night, man. It was at that moment, You know, that meme they say, it was at that
It was
moment.
at that moment.
It was at that moment I realized, I said, this brother right here, man, we're very like-minded.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that show, as I'm sure a lot of brothers that attended that show, they really appreciated that, because you spoke for us. You spoke for a lot of the things that we want to say that we don't say.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the things that we just don't know how to say, you know, and you put it out there, man. And those pieces that you performed that night were very deliberate. They were very deliberate, and they were very necessary. And I think a lot of light got shed that night. And yeah, shout out to you, my brother, man, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, you know, and vulnerability to be able to do that. Because not a lot of brothers ain't gonna go through the ringer like that, you know, to be the spectacle, to be the, you know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. We have our example here. Nate Sr., tell us how you feel. How you really feel.
It's always different being the first, because you don't know what the turnout is going to be, right? And my prayer is that I'm not the last. Know what I mean? Take it up a notch. Do it better. Do it different. Make it yours. Know what I mean? Right. But I started the snowball effect. Let's see where it goes.
And that's where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Now, before we get up out of here, man.
Yes.
You doing something that only very few people get a chance to do, man.
Yes.
Like, we over here vibing, man. I'm in the vibe, man. This interview could easily be like 3-4 hours, because I'm in the vibe. But you know, this has been a dope conversation. And I appreciate these conversations because I think they help. I think, you know, two black men, you know, we chopping it up, talking about things that affect, you know, our community, affect us. You know, I think it's important for the brothers out there and the sisters out there listening, you know, they can get some perspective, you know. But I wanted to get into a couple of things.
Yes.
Two more things we got to get into before this interview is over.
Let's do it.
One.
Yes.
Community. What is community to Nate? What community looks like to you? Do we have a community? And I'm talking about specifically the poetry community, because there's a lot of things going on in the poetry world that we may be aware of, where some poets may not get along with each other. Some poets may have, you know, particular beefs and all that. You know, do we have a community? Or if we don't have a community, is it possible to build one?
I think we have a community, right? But just like every job, every neighborhood, every family, it's just some people in there you don't get along with, right? I think we're doing a lot of great things. Last year, poetry performed at the halftime show.
That's right.
Poetry is getting endorsements. Poetry is now getting signed to just perform certain, you know what I mean, pieces for companies. So in a world that has so much to say, we're on our job. But just as I believe that we have guardian angels, we also have a demonic person that's intent to see out their assignment as well, right? So we have culture vultures. We have people that are hobbyists or see what's getting attention and they want to mimic that. We have people that are not healed or unstable, trying to redefine what stability is. You know, we have double-minded individuals that come into the community to ruffle feathers, and that's their sole purpose. But I think we need to be more vocal. When I grew up as a child, my mother, although my biological parent wasn't the only parent that I had, if my neighbors saw me cutting up, they would straighten me out and tell me go home. And by the time I got home, she's already on the phone with my mother. So now I just got checked. Now I'm about to get half killed. You know, my mom killed me before. But I feel like our community is healthy. It just has COVID. Okay. Okay. And it's some
Great
symptoms we have to deal with in order for us to get well again. But the thing is, we can't be afraid to take that medicine. And sometimes that medicine is just simply having a backbone. Sometimes that medicine is not given an ear or attention to the ignorance.
That's right. That's right. I agree, man. I agree 100%, man. You know, there's always going to be, you know, in any form of gathering. And I do believe we do have a community. You're gonna have odds. You're gonna have opposition. People gonna create rivalries and things of that nature. But in lieu of all of that, you know, I think it's very important that we maintain the integrity of a community.
Yeah.
You know, and that means, you know, not just with the you know, support, real support. Like somebody was just telling me, I forgot who was I talking to, that they said something to me, and I thought that was phenomenal. There was like, there's a difference between fans and supporters. There's a difference between fans and supporters. You know, you may have some fans, but how many people do you have supporting you?
You know, just like there's a difference between someone that's always around versus someone that's always there. Know what I mean? Like don't ever confuse the two. Like Black, you got an album out, you got a book out, and somebody's like, oh man, why you not on this platform? Why you only got these amount of sales? Your immediate question is, why haven't you bought my book?
Exactly.
Why haven't you bought my album? The same way you brag about what restaurant I should go to and what TV show I need to watch, why aren't you? Why you ain't share my my stories? Why you ain't share my posts? Why you ain't like my posts? You know what I mean? Right. And I came to the realization some people won't support you because it's you. Some people you're doing things, and some people just naturally don't like you because of what they think you have. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what's on you, right? And I came to the realization of you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with it. Because some people are just sticking around just in case you make it.
Hold on, I can't do it yet, baby. Hold on.
But that's what I love about the process. The process filters out. The process is a grueling process sometimes. And it sifts out and filters out who needs to be around. So when it's time to succeed, I'm around the right people. Because not everybody's going to stick around for the process. They only want to do the victory lap.
That's right. That's right. That's when they want to come around when you getting your trophy. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's very important that we start supporting each other.
Yes.
You know, first on our level, that we support each other in getting things out. Now, your book.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about your book. Now, did it come out? I read in the bio December. I'm assuming that was
this December.
That came out. Oh, it's coming this December.
It's coming out this December. My first book. Oh man, I am in love with this body of work. The title of it is called Behind Poetic Lines. So it's going to be two versions of the book. You're going to have the regular version, which is just, if you're a fan of poetry, get that book, right? And then the other version is going to be a hardback hardcover, Behind Poetic Lines, The Nate Experience. And if you're a fan of mine, get that book. And the only things that separates the two is, in The Nate Experience, You're going to have some personal pictures of me interacting with family and friends. You're going to actually see the journey of me and my childhood and who I am today. And then I also have a personal letter that I have in this book where I'm talking about some things, and I'm giving some hard truths, and I'm letting people know who I am for real, and how I feel about certain things, man. So behind Poetic Lines, man, and the reason I picked this title, you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan or Behind Enemy Lines?
Yes.
It gives you an in-depth visual of how it is to be on the other side of things, right? And so many times we focus on the poetry and not so much the poet, which is why I've done A Night with a Poet, right? And so I want you to get to know Nate. I want you to understand. Don't look at the decisions that I made. Look at the options that I had to choose from. Look at the environment in which I came from, so you can see, oh, this is why he thinks like that. This is why he talks like that. This is why this is his mannerisms. This is why he enjoys dark humor. You know, I witnessed my first homicide at 8 years old. My best friend got shot in the head while we were coming out of a convenience store, right? So for me, death is a common thing where I grew up at. Right? Wow. So behind Poetic Lines give you an opportunity to see the poet with the poetry. So you get to see why these pieces are written. Not a lot of people are going to show you their nakedness.
Transparency, man. To be that transparent, man. You could show them the journey, man. I think that's a phenomenal idea, man. I can't wait till that book come out.
Yeah.
In fact, when it do come out, when it do debut, I want to have you back on the show.
Oh man, I gotta come back, man. It's too cool hanging with you, man.
Yeah, man. It's cool breeze, man. Yeah. They say things, man. But Black is a cool dude, man. I'm a cool guy, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, man. And it's like-mindedness, man, you know, and it resonates with me, you know. You can see like my grandmother used to say, she said, you can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears.
There it is.
You know, and you know men of substance when you see them. You know men of you know, folly when you see them. You know, and you make those decisions along the way, man. But my brother, you are a man of substance, man. I really appreciate what you're doing out there. You know, the platform that you're giving to a lot of us out there, speaking to the issues that we're dealing with, that we're suffering with in silence, man. I commend you, man. I commend you. Now, don't get too excited, because you ain't gonna just sneak up out of here without doing another piece.
I got you.
Don't think it was about to be over. It ain't about to be over. It's about to be over, but not that quick.
I was saving this particular piece. I always tell people, if they want to get to know me, just listen one poem at a time, right? And this is my testimonial piece. I've always done this piece in every feature to help people understand who I am and where I come from and what I'm about, right? So I'm ready to rock out.
Hold on. Oh, you gotta get the proper introduction.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get the proper introduction. Coming back, performing his final piece. Let's give a round of applause for our brother, Nate Sr.
Poverty, depression, words he grew fond of throughout the years. I'm not even sure why I'm sharing his testimony. I guess I'm tired of his past haunting me with these tears. Have you ever been hungry? Seriously, no joke. As a matter of fact, on most nights, dinner was a jar of peanut butter, and if I was lucky, one of those exquisite great McDonald's jelly packs. Have you ever been homeless? I mean, I had a roof over my head, but maybe it was just that. Can you picture it? 5 kids sleeping on a mattress with roommates, you know, roaches and rats. Don't check your ears. You heard me right. 5 kids, 4 girls, the only one on my block with a single parent mother. And while the rest of the boys was looking up to their fathers and older brothers, I'm looking up to my older sister like, how is she gonna make me tougher? I'm trying to speak to you through one of the mouths that God sent. I'm trying to speak to you and tell you who Nathaniel Graham is. I was old enough to go through hell, but wasn't old enough to know that God exists. And this is why I appreciate little things, because I once saw life through jaded green eyes, and I can't explain how it feels to pour off these confessions, something I held on to too long in the depths of solitude inside. But I remember running to mama saying, this can't be life. Please wake me up from this dream. Please tell me all that I see isn't as bad as it seems. And she would look to the sky and say, son, I know God. And he wants you to know you're going through the fire for a reason. You will be better than most. Suicide, neglect, words that became his best and only friend for real. Maybe because he's so desperately wanting to be like his mother, hiding life behind a bottle of pain pills. You see, I figured if I can overdose and could remember yesterday or today, then tomorrow wouldn't look so bad. But death has no friends, just a family of victims that brought me to the shocking conclusion I was running from something I never wanted so bad, life. And I thought it would be okay if I could sell cocaine, just like all the other niggas on my block. Receiving praises from intoxicated fools who gave me money and food, saying, nigga, you sure do have heart. I wish death would have took me when it had me and never let me go. Never could I answer the puzzling question why misery loved me so. I roamed the streets so much they called me a drifter. Better yet, I knew the streets better than the traffic signs. Better yet, black, I knew it better than the back of my hand. Okay, you got me. I knew the streets better than the back of my father's head, because it was all I ever seen and all I ever had the chance to know. And although we share the same blood, he would age me by the number of times that he saw me. I've been 9 for 12 years. My sister has been 2 for too long. And although she's a girl, she was more of a man than my father, because productively she stuck around to help and watch me grow. But I remember running to mama saying, this can't be life. Please wake me up from this dream. Please tell me all that I see isn't as bad as it seems. And she will look to the sky with tears down her eyes saying, son, I know God. And he wants you to know he's sending you through the fire for a reason. You will be better than most. Revival, deliverance. Words heard only in fairy tales, because they was words I wished I had, because I was close to making the call that having no life at all was better than the life that I have. You see, heaven for the rich and hell for the poor, a phrase I knew all too well, because my conditions was critical, my living was miserable, my hope was just starting to fail. An eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind. This was my message to all the masses. And if that's the case, black, then liberty needs shades, the government needs goggles, because I'm looking out of Ray Charles glasses. What if I told you I never knew God for myself until the day that I fell apart? And on that day would bend the knees, confess he was Lord, and welcomed him in my heart, because I followed down a dark and narrow road many years ago, hoping only to find love and acceptance along my broken road, never knowing God was all I needed until he was all I had left in faith. And for the first time, I fell in love with the man who was my father. And just like my father, I never saw his face. He breathed life into me before I even knew what life was. And now all I do for him, because he's all I'll ever love. You see, this is my life. My escapes are my dreams. And all that I saw wasn't as bad as it seems. You see, mama knows right, but God knows best. The fire you go through is for him to use you to become him in your flesh. So never complain how bad you think you got it, because someone will always have it worse than you. And if you think you're going through hell now, be grateful, because he's trying to use you, and you can come out like me, better than most.
Wow, man. Wow, man. Absolutely phenomenal, man. I can see why that's a signature piece, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, my brother, I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy that you're out here and you're joining, or you have joined the fight.
Yes.
You know, we got to fight against, and we got to combat against ignorance.
Yes.
Against wasting time. A lot of our brothers and sisters is out here just wasting time.
Absolutely.
And it's words like yours that's really, man, making a difference and inspiring people to be better versions of themselves, man. That was an epic piece. Epic, man. On so many different levels. I mean, this has been a great interview, man.
Yeah, man. And I want to thank you, man. For me, coming on soul sessions, I got a soul lesson that, there's so many people like you, Black, that are really, really stand-up guys. And a man of their word, man. But more importantly, man, this was a whole vibe. Like I said, I'm not always on this side of it. Know what I mean? I'm used to being the one, picking the brain and poking. You know what I mean? So, but thank you for making me feel at home.
Definitely, my brother.
And more importantly, thank you for making me feel like I wasn't alone. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Just a kindred spirit that can resonate and identify with so many of the things that I'm saying, man. That both of us knew that's great confirmation that we're on the right track with this thing. And we just got to keep riding until the wheels fall off.
That's right, man. That's right, man. I mean, I definitely want to thank you, man, for coming in and spending this time. Like, I really enjoyed this interview. We've been going for an hour and 51 minutes. I schedule about maybe an hour, 15 minutes tops. But it's certain artists that come on that now we just got to sit and vibe. And I want to invite you back on another level, because I do from time to time on my Tuesday show, I do platform discussions where we take a topic that's going on or something that's happening in our community and we address it. And I try to get a panel, whereas we'll talk about the topic, and you've raised some great topics on your platform, man. Yeah. And I definitely want to we can collaborate and come together and talk about some of these things that's plaguing our community, and we can throw out some solutions and some, just give some attention to it, or draw some attention to it so people can be aware of what's going on. And have these panel discussions. I mean, they're great, man. I've done a few of them. And they're great, man. When you have like-minded people coming together searching for solutions, man, I definitely want you to be a part of that, man. Because I believe that you are definitely worthy. Most definite. But yeah, I want to thank you, King, man, for coming through, man. Also, man, for interviewing me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The Night with a Poet, man. I felt comfortable. I felt, and I got vulnerable in that interview too, man, because I felt that comfortability. And it was great, man. I wanted you to feel that same experience over here, man. That it's all love, man. It's all family.
Out the red carpet, man.
Most definite, bro, man. You know what I'm saying? Most definite. But I definitely want to thank you for coming through. Stick around though. I gotta address my audience, but I gotta talk to you off air.
Absolutely. Hey, before you address them, thank you all for listening. For those of you that tune in, man, this is a great podcast, a great man. And continue to support, continue to follow, continue to share and subscribe. Don't just listen, subscribe, right? And for me, as far as an artist, if you would like to get in contact with me, just hit me up on Instagram, Nate Senior _improv. That's Nate NATESR_IMPROV. And I look forward to connecting.
Definitely, man. And I'm gonna send me them links too, because I'm gonna put all your links up in the description of this when this drop. It should be dropping next Friday. But I'll put the description up and all your links, anything you got going on, any events that you got coming up. Yes. We can put that up in there too, so people in your city or whoever that can get to you can support you, my brother, man. Definitely. Absolutely. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming through, being such a wonderful guest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We vibed, man, and this was beautiful, man. This was beautiful. I can't wait for this to drop. I think it's going to be very impactful for many people. But this is a part of the show, which is one of my favorite parts of the show. is when I address the audience, because I gotta leave you guys. I gotta leave you guys with something, motivational.
Yeah.
So if you listening to the sound of my voice, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I need you to tune in. I need you to tune in. Give me 20 seconds. We have work to do, family. We have work to do, and it's time to get busy. I hope you continue to stay on your path, to stay on your grind, never allowing anyone to compromise your greatness. You are great, you are majestic, and you are beautiful. And if you don't know anything about me, I want you to understand this. I want you to know that I love you. And I hope you love me too. Peace.